Join the team.
Hey, this is the theMCGuiRE Review, and today we're going to be taking a look at Dragoon, the Gold Edition from Lay Waste Games. Now, this is a awesome game. As you can see here, I've got the spread. I've already got it set up with a 4-player game. Generally, I do a 3-player setup, but for this one, I'm going to do a 4-player because the components on this are just so fantastic. So as we start to talk through this, Bear, go ahead and load the video. You're going to see the video right up here. Now, the first... Bear, go load the video. Okay. A little off point today, buddy. All right, video's loaded. You can check out the components that are over my shoulder here, and you can just see how awesome this is. And these are actually real little metal components. And even this one here is kind of electroplated with some gold. It does indicate right here real gold inside. So that's pretty awesome. Now this does come in a gold edition, as they say here, and if you buy the gold edition, what that means is you are getting the metal pieces here, which is definitely worth it. I mean, these components are fantastic. They do also have this game in a plastic version as well. So if you don't want to spend the money to get the upgraded metal and even kind of gold electroplated pieces here, or at least for this player, and you can get this game in plastic bits as well, which is just as good. It's the same game. Obviously, just these are going to be plastic versus, the metal. So this is a 2 to 4 player game, and there is an expansion that's right up here. We'll talk about that here in a second. Time-wise, 40 to 60 minutes and 13 plus on this one. So we'll go ahead and set the box right over here, and now you'll be able to see kind of the full play that we have. So let's go through some components really quick. I do want to talk about the expansions that we have. They just finished this expansion on Kickstarter, and it is the Rogue and Barbarian expansion. So we will talk about that here in a second, and I will be doing a separate video just on the Rogue and Barbarian expansions. So look forward to that coming out here in a little while. Let's look at these components here. This is going to be it's actually a cloth bag, but it's actually your score chart. So this is your score chart that you will use these little pieces here. There is a dragon head for each one of the players. And you will use that to track the various gold that the players have. There is a little human, they call it the human thief's skull, that is included in the base game as well. And that one is for tracking the gold that the thief actually has. And the thief is a character that's kind of built into this game. It is separate than the rogue. It is different. It's just a human character that's in the game that no one necessarily controls, but it gets gold over the course of the game depending on various actions that happen. And then other dragons can loot that gold back once the thief's chest, so I'll go right here, as a nice little metal chest here they have, where that chest will get put on the board in a random spot of the board. And then if your dragon lands there, you can loot the gold that's in that chest. So it's just another way to kind of get gold, because obviously as you move around this track, the first person to 50 gold at the end of the round would be the winner. There are some situations with tiebreakers that might even continue the game to go into another round if there's multiple players that are tied at that 50 gold. So that's a really interesting mechanic. First person to 50 gold at the end of the round takes the game. So that's our bag here, and it is nice because it's not just a piece of cloth like the board is. We'll get here in a second. This is an actual little bag. So you could, if you didn't want to use the box, actually put everything into the bag and use that to kind of carry everything around. So that's pretty neat as well, that it does have kind of that dual functionality. Now you will see that there are these little dragon heads here again, and these are just used to, move around that track as you're tracking towards that win condition of 50 gold. That's what these are going to be used for. And then I'll move right over here. These are the little, what they call totems that are going to represent the various different characters, the dragon players, as they go into villages and as they get upgraded to cities, like we have here on this red card. You're going to be placing these on these villages and cities. And that indicates that you kind of have laid claim to that area as a player. And that will give you more gold when we get into the tribute phase of the game, and we'll explain that when we go through gameplay, because I will be kind of just going through and playing maybe a couple rounds, all 4 players, just so you can kind of see the interaction of how the game plays out. So this is kind of a starting of a game. I've already started this. I've played a few rounds already to kind of build the board up to give you a feel of kind of what it would look like during gameplay. And then we'll play a little bit more here when we get into the gameplay section of the review. So these are going to be our little dragon totems that we're going to be able to put up. You will have cards that are obviously included in the game, and there are a deck of cards right here, and these things will allow you to do all kinds of different. The cards come in white as well as this sort of orange color that you see here, and you'll see that I do have one card that's orange and the rest of them are white. Those white cards are going to be things that you're going to do, when it's your turn. The orange ones are going to be more reactionary. Somebody on their turn does something to you, like attacks you or, takes over one of the areas that, you have claim to. You might be able to play one of these cards to say, nope, I don't think so. So it's just kind of a way to kind of react to various different things that happen in the environment. So those you can play when it's not your turn. So that's good that you got kind of both of those mechanics that are in the cards you can play on your turn, cards that you can play on other people's turns. Okay, you'll also see that we do have the actual dragon miniature. So each player will get this little dragon miniature that is metal, excellent component. And then this right here is what's called the dragon cave. So each player will get a dragon cave, and that cave will be used to metaphorically store gold. You will be tracking your gold here on this track with your little dragon token that matches your color. But this is just to represent the cave that the dragon would be storing that gold in. And it does have a specific purpose in-game. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the game overview. You will see that there are some kind of reference sheets that are included on one side. There is the actions that you're able to take when it's your turn. These are all the different actions that you can take, and we'll talk about that here in a second. And then on the other side, it actually lays out how much gold you will receive during the tribute phase of the game. So that's very clearly articulated right there. And I like this. This actual reference sheet was done really well. It's very simple, but it has exactly what you need to know when it's your turn, and I don't find myself needing to go back and reference the rule book after I've read it. The directions are very simple, so let's just go right into the rule book here. You'll see the rule book is fairly short. It does have some pictures on it as well as text. It is mainly text heavy outside of kind of the comic book style artwork that you'll find on the pages, which I thought was a really nice addition. But it is a very, very straightforward rule book. Very quick read, and it goes through all 3 phases of the game, which are the populate, then action, then tribute phase. Those are all 3 phases of the game that you'll go through, laid out right there. Very quick read. Trust me, you'll be up and playing before you know it. It's a very, very quick read, and it's not difficult at all to understand how this game plays out, and you'll see that when we get to gameplay. I want to go right to the mat here. I love the fact that they went with a cloth board versus an actual traditional cardboard board. Some people may like that, some people may not. I absolutely love that. I think this is just awesome. That feel of kind of an old school, overview map. I mean, obviously it has bright colors. It doesn't have more of that sepia type look as an older map would. But I do like the material. It's a very thick canvas. If when you pull it out of the box, it's going to have some creases because it is folded up. But those are going to go out over time. But I love the fact that it's this cloth board. I think it adds a lot to the theme, and it just makes it fun. I mean, look at this game. Like, the metal components, they got a shine to them. They got the weight. I mean, you can feel the quality. You've got this awesome board. I don't know. For me, this game, it's one of those games that you just want to get out and play, and it's got a small form factor too. You just want to get out and play because it looks so cool, and the game is a lot of fun. Great strategy, tons of fun. So now let's go over here and talk about the expansion that we got. Now, this is a brand new expansion that they just got off of Kickstarter with, and it comes with the barbarian, and it comes with the rogue. And what this does is it allows this game to become now a 6-player game, because you got 4 dragons, 2 to 4 player game. Now you can have a 6-player game, and you can have a player control the barbarian or a player control the rogue, or you can wipe all this off the board and play a 2-player game, not have any dragons at all. You can actually have one player be a barbarian, one player be a rogue. And these characters do operate very differently than the dragons. Now, they do go through the same game phases. A lot of things are very similar in the way that it works when you get to scoring, but the actual actions that these various characters take are dramatically different. And we'll talk more about that in the expansion video that's for this, but I'll give you a little bit of a teaser. The rogue is going to be able to use this tunneling ability, where these little tokens here you can use to tunnel from, you know, little village and city to city to village to village to village to city, so you can tunnel around the map really quickly. The rogue also comes with 6 different types of unique equipments, which, you know, I mean, I almost have to say the rogue is my favorite character because I love the use of these equipment. Where every time it's your turn, you can select a new piece of equipment to use. I think that's awesome because strategically you can kind of plan ahead and say, oh, I'm going to use the shovel, or I'm going to, you know, I'll read you some of these here, the pickpocket, or the shovel, or the poison, the well, the poison dagger, the pawn shop. So there's different things that you can kind of activate, and you can only use one of these per turn. And you can keep the same one activated, or you can use a free action to switch it out and use a different type of material or a different type of item or weapon. So I love that aspect of the rogue. Where the barbarian's going to come with a nice deck that's going to be a deck similar to what you would have with the dragons, where you're going to have 3 cards in your hand at all time. You're going to have this little boat that actually travels around the outside of the board that carries gold, and you can take that boat out. Other players can. You're going to have the actual barbarian miniature here, where you'll be able to put him on the board and move him around. And then the barbarian really focuses on also having these claim totems, where he can put these on various different civilization areas and gain influence or gain troops right from that area that he can use for his own prosperity to win. So both of these characters very different, and I will say, if you like this game and you're going to get into this game, my recommendation would be to just go ahead and pick up, all of this is the base game. Go ahead and pick up the base game and get this expansion. Because to me, you're missing a lot of awesome gameplay by not having this expansion. And it's not really an overly expensive expansion. You can see here it's fairly small of what you're actually getting in the expansion, but it adds a ton of new gameplay and variability in the game. So for me, it's a no-brainer. If you're going to get into this game, you like this game, just go ahead and order the expansion once it comes out. Or if you're a Kickstarter backer, obviously you're going to be getting this through Kickstarter. So that's what I would say with what we have on the table in front of us. Now, I will call out quickly just one more thing as we go through the component here with this box. One, the box is a small form factor. I mean, it's a pretty small little box, so it's easy to travel with. Remember, if you don't want to take this box for one reason or the other, you can always take the whole game, package it all up, and put it in your Dragoon bag here that's also your score tracker. So I thought that was a nice, innovative sort of implementation of this, because that kind of dubs as a way to carry the game around as well. What I really want to show you is just the inside of this box. And it does have a nice tight fit here, which is always good, and it's a nice thick cardboard. But in the inside of this box, they did include a nice foam insert, and I do want to make note of that. And each one of these areas here will kind of pop out. It's already cut out for you, and you'll find a little bag inside of each area. And this little bag is what you'll have to hold kind of your pieces for each one of the characters, which I thought was a really nice addition, that it wasn't just all thrown in there. Each, player gets a little bag of materials, and, it's, again, good quality, right? It's a nice quality cloth bag. It's got an actual metal little tie there on it, so I thought that was nice, and I wanted to call that out. There will also be a nice little box that includes for your cards, so all the cards in the base game will come in this little box, and the box will list out exactly what is in the game. So if you do want to kind of pass that around before you start to play, there are players that like to understand the statistics of card draws within decks. That's going to be listed right on the back of this box, and you can clearly see exactly what's going to be included. So that's what the cutout's going to look like. It's going to have those 4 areas to put your components for each dragon back. Under the cards, you're going to have a space to put all of your population tokens back in. And then this part right here is to fold up your map and then slide your map right back in there. So that's what the box looks like. And I always do like to call out on some of these games when the boxes are really well done and the inserts are really well done, because I think, you know, that shows that the company really put some time into thinking through how to properly package back up the game, protect the game, and make it look nice. It's a nice presentation when you open the box. Okay, so let's now get into what setup of this game would look like, and then we're going to start playing. So when we set up the game, depending on if there are 2, 3, or 4 players, these dragons and their caves are going to start in various locations on the map. And it's going to point that right out in the book for you. It's going to show you a little diagram of exactly where you're going to place each one of those players. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get all the pieces, obviously, that would match your player. Everybody's going to put all of their trackers here on the 0 spot, as well as, again, remember the thief's token. We're going to put that on 0 as well. And then every player is going to get 3 cards to start the game. There is no hand limit as you play the game, as you acquire more cards, but you will start with 3. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go right into populating the board. So in the population phase, that's where these tokens here are going to come out onto the board. And these are the civilization population tokens, which basically is representing where humans are sort of springing up across this land. And then on the other side of the tile, it's actually an orange color, and that represents, it was upside down there, that represents the cities. So you really start off with villages, and then if there is during a future population term, an area where it can kind of hits again, and I'll show you how that works here with the dice that are included, it will turn over and become a city, and that's going to give you more gold if you have claim to that. It's going to offer up a lot more to you as those cities are kind of upgraded. And all of these tiles are exactly the same. There is no difference with any of these tiles, so you don't have to worry about shuffling them or them getting mixed up or needing to, you know, segment them at the beginning of the game. They are all exactly the same. And that's where our last component here comes into play, which are these 2 little metal dice that are included. One kind of a bronze color and one a silver color. Now those do correspond to the symbols here on the sides of the board. There is kind of a bluish black color that's down here, and that corresponds right to your silver dice. And then there is a orange that's right here, or a red as it refers to it in the book, and that will correspond to your bronze die there. I will say these are custom dice. They aren't simply just D6 and metal. They do have a little Dragoon symbol there on them for the 1, which I thought was pretty cool that they added. So these are some custom dice. And now when we want to populate, we're going to roll. How many times we populate will be based on how many players there are. So taking that we're playing a 4-player game, it's going to be how many players plus 1. So we're going to roll and populate 5 times in a 4-player game. So if I was to populate, I would roll these dice, and I would say, well, the bronze here got a 4, so I'd just go ahead and set it right there. And the silver here got a 4. I'd go ahead and set it right here. It's really just kind of a matrix system. So you would just kind of come over here and say, oh, well, right here on the map is where the next civilization tile would pop up. And you would take one and you would put it right there in that spot. Now, if, for instance, it popped up, let's say, here, well, that would be right here. Now, if there's already a village there, what you would do is you would go ahead and just flip that over and make it a city. So that's how we're going to make these villages turn into cities. It's that easy. Let's say that it popped up on a dragon's cave. So if it popped up on someone's cave, what's going to happen is you're going to take the thief and you're going to move that thief's little skull here up 3. So if it lands on any of the dragon's caves, the thief is going to steal, hypothetically, 3 gold. Now, that does not come off of the dragon that it lands on. This is just sort of a general pool that it comes out of that the thief is able to get. So it will not dramatically affect any player. It just kind of beefs up the thief's treasure chest. And if that was to happen, at that point in the game, once the thief goes from 0 to anything more than 0, you then would grab the dice and you would do the same thing to roll 2 of them, figure out where it matrix, and that's where the thief's chest would be placed on the board. And then it's going to be another object that players are going to be trying to get to and then spend an action to be able to loot that thief's chest. So that's the reason that the Thief's Chest is included. That's how that mechanic works, and I do like how that is designed, because it sort of pops on and off the board, and it's not something that's always there. So it's almost like a treasure goblin, right? It sort of pops up, and it's like, while it's there, you better get to it and try to loot it before somebody else does, because once it gets looted and it's empty, it's gone and it's off the board. Until, the thief gains gold through one way or another over the course of gameplay. And that's either through thief's cards that can be played, or it's from what we just showed, where you are populating and you land on a dragon's cave. So those are all the different ways that you can actually gain gold. I will say, if it lands on a dragon's cave or if it lands on a city, that same action will happen for a thief, not a village. So if it lands on a village, it turns into a city. But if it lands on a city again, there's really no way to upgrade it past the city. So the thief would gain 3 more gold. So it would work the same way as a cave would. And that's how the population phase is going to work. It's that easy. You're seeding the board on a round by round basis and really changing what you're going to be interacting with over the course of round to round, which I love that mechanic, because you'll find as we play out, there'll be players that will take strategies of trying to sort of set up an area and just guard that area. You'll have other players that will work on venturing out, and round to round it changes, because as different locations are destroyed and taken off the map, new ones will pop up in different locations. And I love that aspect of randomness to this game, where you don't really know the next round where civilizations are going to pop up on the map. So you'll find yourself trying to make the decisions of, well, I only got one action left, so do I stay where I'm at, or do I just kind of maybe, move my dragon out like right here, because I'm hoping that maybe something pops up in this location. So I really love games that add that little twist of a bit of randomness, turn to turn or round to round, for you, so you got a little bit more option, and it kind of pays off when you make those moves. It's sort of a personal win, wouldn't you say, Bear? Yeah, you would. So that's how we're going to do that. So now you're going to go right into the action phase of the game, and this is where each player is going to go around and have a turn, an individual turn. Now, if you were starting the game, you would start with the first player and go around the table. If you were going into a round past the first round, the individual that is in the last spot, so we would consider kind of the loser at the current point in time, that person would decide who goes first on the next round, which could be themselves. And it really works out if they're actually the last one to go and they're in last place, because they could essentially take 2 turns in a row if that scenario was to play out. But I like that mechanic as well, where the person that's in, the last spot, really kind of bringing up the rear there, can say, you know what, I'm going to decide who gets to go first on the next round. And then obviously it would trail around the table as it normally would. It would just start at a certain spot, and it may not be that player that went first on the last round. And that can dramatically change the outcome of that round. Because again, once you go, you're kind of set. So in this game, sometimes it's good to be the first or second player, because you get to kind of make your choices first on the board and do your kind of strategic moves before other players. But once you do, you're sort of done. You're kind of locked down, unless you've put yourself in a position strategic-wise to have some orange cards to react to what other players might or you might think they will do. So players that are in that latter part of the round do have a lot of good option to be able to, move around the board, because they've kind of seen what everybody else has done. So there's a great balance there between going kind of first or going sort of near the end of a round. Another mechanic that I absolutely love, and I feel like it's balanced very well in this game. So that's going to be the action phase. You're going to go through, you're going to play cards. You're really going to start the action phase off with drawing a card, and then you're going to have those cards in your hand. You're going to decide what you want to play. You don't have to, but cards are free actions. You can play as many as you want. You got 5 cards in your hand. You can play all 5 of them if you want. Those are something that just happens for free. And again, all the actions are listed out right here. I will run through them. You can play cards for free, and it will tell you right what the action cost is. You can move. Every time you move, it's cost 1. You cannot move diagonally. You can only move forward, back, left, and right. You can claim an area. That means you're taking your little totem and putting it on one of the populations. You can destroy, which means you just basically blow a fireball into the population or the city and just destroy it. You can steal from caves. So you can go to another dragon's cave and steal gold. And if you end your movement there, there's something else that will happen as well, and we'll talk about that when we get to gameplay. You can also steal from a thief's treasure. So again, if you get to the thief's treasure and it's on the board, you can steal from that thief's treasure. You can discard and draw. So you can just get rid of one of your cards and draw another card. Or for 2 actions, you can just simply draw another card. Now, what's important about these actions is you have to use 3 actions on your turn. That's how many you have. That's how many you have to use. And you may think, oh, okay, awesome, I have to use 3. Because in a lot of games, it's like, you got 3 actions, but you don't have to use all 3. This game, got to use all 3. And that will very much play into your strategy, because you will find that you will go 1 action, 2 action, and you'll be positioned right where you want to be. So let's say that it was this player's turn and I wanted to go 1, 2. I'm done. I'm staying here. And there's a reason for that, because when you get to the tribute phase, which is the next phase we'll talk about, if you're actually sitting on the place that you have claim, it's worth a little bit more. It's actually kind of an automatic gold gain. You don't have to roll for what you would get. So there would be a purpose to do that. But you can't do that because you have to take 1 more action. So if you don't want to move and there's already claim there, you can't use a 3rd action to put a claim there. What you may want to do is just use your 3rd action to discard a card and draw a card. So I like that mechanic as well, that you have to use the 3 actions on your turn. And you'll find that people will be playing and they'll have this great strategy and they'll be like, oh yeah, got it, right where I want to be. And then it's like, come on, dude, you got to use your 3rd action. And then it's like, oh, no. And then they may not have any cards they want to discard. So then they kind of have to throw something away that they might want. And hopefully they'll draw something that, will also offset that down the road. So I love that. That's what the action phase is about. Now, the 3rd phase of the game is going to be a tribute phase. So in this phase, this is when each player is going to gain or even have to lose their totem claims in various areas based on how the game is sort of set up now when we get to the tribute phase. So if you do have a little claim token on a civilization, you will be able to roll a die for every single one of those, and whatever number you get, that will correspond to a little table that's on the back side of your reference card. So I just rolled a 3. It says if I roll a 3, 4, or 5 on a village, I gain 1 gold. I'd simply go over here, grab the token that corresponds to my color, and I'd up it by 1. If it was a city, I would gain 3 gold, much like this. So if I was to roll a 6, I do get a little bit more gold. That's kind of a crit roll. But if you roll a 1, you actually lose 1 claim. So you can go and look at every area that you have one of these little claims, and you actually just get to, you have to just take 1 off the board and lose it. So you don't want to roll a 1, and that's a problem for me. If you guys watch a lot of my other videos, I am a master of rolling 1s on D6s. I generally only roll 1s on D6s. That's been really fun for me over the course of my gaming career. But I have had a lot of luck with these little metal dice so far. So that's been good in the games that I've played yet with this game. So thumbs up to the metal dice. That's good, and it's working for me on this game. Now, there's one other part of Tribute that I will mention, and you really get this gold as part of normally of your action phase. If you destroy villages or cities, and that is a action that you can take. Now, let's say if I wanted to destroy this place, what it does is it gives you immediate gold. So you may take 1 action to move here, and action number 2 of my 3 actions, I'll destroy, take it, throw it back, and I will immediately get 2 gold. Or if it's a city, I'll immediately get 4 gold. So that's one way that once cities pop up, you may want to kind of go on a rampage of trying to destroy things, because it's a way to really quickly amp up your gold points. And I find that once it gets kind of down to near the end game, once people are getting close to that 50 gold, there is a lot of destroying that happens, because on your turn you're going to try to really amp up that, that gold gain as quickly as you can. So that's something that you can do, and it is immediate gold. So think about that, right? You kind of got 2 options in the design of this game to get gold. One, immediately gaining gold and destroying things. So it's more of a tactical advancement of your points or your gold, or gaining claim and I like to use the word influence, but they call it claim, or putting your totem or claim over an area. And that's more of a strategic way of gaining gold over the course of the game. So you will find players that may start to sort of, depending on how things pop up, because there's cards that say, hey, you know, wherever you are, you gain claim on every tile that's adjacent, even the diagonals. So I could be here, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I just immediately lay claim on boom, 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 all three of them. And then I may want to play some defense, right, where I'm attacking other dragons and sort of trying to ward them off of my area, and then trying to land my dragon on one of those areas every single turn. That's going to give me a lot, because one, it's going to give you an area that you have more of a chance to turn that into cities. Two, it's going to, every single round when it's tribute time, be paying out gold. And again, you're rolling that die unless you're sitting there. That's just an automatic kind of, you get the gold. But you're rolling that die, and you could really get gold fast round to round. And you're going to find other dragons coming in trying to stop you from doing that if that's really your strategy. So, you know, there's lots of different ways to get the points, whether it's tactically or strategically. So that's nice as well. So what we're going to do here is get right into the gameplay example. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to do one round of gameplay. That will give you a good feel for what gameplay looks like. So I'm just going to say that the gold player for this particular round was the player to be chosen. The gold player is actually in the lead, but let's just say the dark sort of gunmetal player right here chose that the gold went first for one reason or the other. So the first thing we're going to do is populate the board. So we're going to roll these here, and we get a 1 and a 2. So 1 and 2 is right here. Oh, there's a new civilization that just popped up. That's 1. 2 is 6 and 2. Right here is another one. This will be our third roll, which is a 4 and a 2. Okay, there's already a village there, so now it becomes a city. Awesome. This is our fourth roll, which is a 6 and a 4, which is going to be right here. Oh, now this village just became a city, and it does still have that silver claim on it, so hooray for the silver player. And now our last roll, because again, we do it 1 plus the amount of players, is going to be 6 and 4, which is going to be right here. Now a new regular village pops up right here, which is going to be good for this bronze player, because now we have another village to maybe lay claim and or destroy. So that's going to be our population phase. We are now populated for the round, and let's say that our gunmetal kind of colored here player, which is in the last place, decides that the gold player is going to start first for this round. For one reason or the other, that's what's going to start first. So we're going to look at our cards here. We are going to draw a card. You always start the round drawing a card. And I'm going to look here. Well, I got one orange card, and again, that's going to be kind of on the defense. Or yeah, this one says play during the tribute phase. So you're going to be playing during kind of a different phase than your action phase. But I'm going to hang on to that one. And I've got Menacing Roar. I got a Thief card here. I've got Benevolent Master, which can upgrade a population tile that you have claimed. Let's look here. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and play that Master card. And it's a free action to play cards. And I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this to a city, because I did have claim there. So that'd be good for me. I am also going to play Menacing Roar, which allows me to claim every city and village that is adjacent to your current location, including diagonal. Well, this is adjacent to my current location, so I'm going to go ahead and lay claim there as well. And this is all free, right? I haven't used any of my actions yet. And then I do have the Thief card here, which allows me to steal a card at random from an opponent, or target player loses 3 gold to the Thief's treasure. Well, you know what? Ooh, this is interesting. I am going to, because this is a target player loses 3 gold, I'm going to play that Thief's card as well, really blowing through those cards, and I'm going to target this guy that's close to me, and the silver loses 1, 2, 3. All right, now I'm really in the lead, and a Thief just gained 3 gold, so 1, 2, 3. Now the Thief is in place, the treasure chest is in play, and let's hope I can get it near me. That would be awesome. Okay, this might be near me. We got 2 and a 3. Oh, it couldn't have worked out any better. Are you kidding me? Yes! Yes!
Yes!
All right, so the thief chest is in play, and it lands right here, perfectly adjacent to this player. This turn could not be going any better for player gold. All right, team gold. We're doing well. So now what we're going to do is, I'm done with the cards. I'm not going to play any more cards. So I'm going to go look here at my actions and see what I want to do, because I want to play this one smart. So there's really no other areas that I probably could get to and lay claim on, because you got to get to the token to be able to lay claim on it. So there really is nowhere else that I would want to go. I definitely want to... This is a tricky one, because you got to use 3 actions. So I'm going to use an action to move here. I am then going to use an action to steal from the thief's treasure. And when you steal from the thief's treasure, so I've used 2 of my actions now, you will roll a die to see how much you do steal. And I steal 3, and they're worth 3. So this goes back to 0. Thief's treasure is now gone, comes off the board because I've looted it. Now no one else has the option to be able to get to it, and I go up 1, 2, 3. So I'm now at 11, and I've just massively taken a lead over the other players on the board. Gold player doing well here. Now I do have one more action, so I can choose a discard a card and draw a card if I don't want to move. But interesting, I am going to move, and I'm going to move right back to my... I can't move diagonally, or I'd move here. I can't attack this dragon because I can't get to it. I could move back to my cave, but that's not really going to do anything for me. I'm just going to go right back right here, and that's going to be it. And I'm going to look at my cards to see, do I have any oranges that's going to help me in maybe defense if I get attacked? And I don't. So, yeah, I do not. So now it's the next player's turn. So this player is going to draw a card, and now we're going to look, okay, we got 2 orange cards on this riot. When an opponent is attempting to claim or destroy a population tile you have claimed, it remains yours. So that's just going to be defense against someone else trying to claim what I have. I do have a critical strike with this player, which is going to allow me to add 2 to my combat roll. That's going to be important, and other players don't know I have that. And I have Lay Waste and Fair Wind. Fair Wind allows me to kind of move across the board a little quicker, and Lay Waste allows me to just basically automatically destroy things around me as I move around the board. So, you know what? I am going to actually play Lay Waste because I need to get some... I really need to get some gold here. So I'm going to do a 1, and I'm going to immediately take this out. That doesn't cost me anything to destroy this because of that Lay Waste. So I'm going to take that out. Now I will immediately gain 4 gold because it's a city. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm then going to use my second action, and I am going to destroy this as well. That's going to give me 2 gold immediately. 1, 2. And I'm going to use my third action to move right here. And that's going to be my actions for the game. It's now going to be the bronze player's turn. I'm going to draw this card here, and I'm going to look at what I got. All right, Booby Trap. Very nice. When played, a dragon spends an action to steal from your cave. This action is spent, then no gold can be stolen. So other dragons can land in other dragons' caves, and when you do that, you will steal gold from those dragons. Now, if you're just moving through and you have enough actions to move in, steal, and move out, you just steal gold. If you have not enough actions to move out and you land and you end your turn in their cave, a very interesting mechanic takes place. And that mechanic really is the dragon's castle that it is will have to return to its cave. You as a player will actually lose gold. So you will pay 3 gold. But it's a trade-off, right? You're kind of landing in their cave, paying 3 gold to get them to return to their cave. Now you're also stealing, so there's kind of an offset there. It's like, how much do you steal, right, versus how much you have to pay. When you land in that cave, you will be able to steal from that dragon by rolling a die, and you get however many gold you roll. So you could get a crit and get 6 gold. Now, if you actually land and you end your turn in their cave, there's a really interesting mechanic that plays out when that happens. which I absolutely love. And you'll want to do that sometimes. It will cost you some gold to do it, but it's worth it in some situations. So let's say that I ended my turn in the cave. I would roll a die, I would steal from the dragon, I would see how much gold I got. I then would pay 3 gold because I ended my turn in the cave. But by paying that 3 gold, and that is something that happens, it's not a choice. Let's say this dragon was all the way over here, or this dragon was ready to take its turn to lay claim and mess up your area. It actually pulls that dragon back to its cave and then offsets you back to your cave. So if you ever end your turn in another player's cave, there's a really interesting mechanic that plays out that I like a lot, because you can use that strategically to really move yourself around the board and move other players around the board by use of that mechanic. So now it's this player's turn, and we're going to look and see what they would like to do. So, Benevolent Master, upgrade a population tile that you have claimed. Well, nope, I can't do that. It's not going to work out for me. Fireball, destroy 1 village or city adjacent to you, including diagonal, and earns you gold. Can take out 1 that it's near me. I don't think I want to do that. You know what? I think I'm going to hang on to all these cards. I'm not going to play any cards for this particular character. I'm going to start taking my actions. So I'm going to go 1. I'm going to lay claim for 2. And then I'm actually going to go 3. And I'm going to stay right there on this city. Now it is the last player's turns. The last player is going to come here, draw a card. Roaring Menace. All right, or Menacing Roar is actually what it's called, and that's going to lay claim to every adjacent area, well, that's interesting because, yes, I'm going to play this. So I'm going to play that card against a free action. It allows me to lay claim to every adjacent area to this character, which you'll see here the gold character has got claim over here on these as well. So I'm just going to take those off and say, here you go, gold player, you can have those back. And I'm going to lay claim to both of these areas. And now I'm controlling them. There's also a lay waste. I also have an envoy here. An envoy which claim 1 city or town. Claim 1 city or village adjacent to 1 you already claimed. I'm going to play this as well because this is adjacent to an area I have claimed. So now I can put a claim there. And man, if I have another one of those, I can keep on going. Oh, that would be sweet. If I had I don't, but if I had another one of those cards, you know what? I am going to use my first action, and I am going to discard this card and draw a card. If I can draw one of those cards that allow me to do that, I can then already own it. Yes! Okay, the silver player already owns all 4 of these. Look at that domino effect. How sick is that going to be for tribute? All right, so now we still have our 3 actions. Now, what I'm more likely going to want to do is I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here, and I'm going to try to take control of this city and fight this player. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and I still have a 3rd action, but I am going to use combat is automatic. It's not an action that you have to pay for, and it happens immediately when 2 dragons are on the same spot. So now each dragon will choose a die. I will go here with the silver one. We'll do the bronze for the gold. You will roll. Highest wins. I'll show you what happens. Come on, silver. Let's take this. Oh! Silver lost. All right, if it was a tie, it goes to the attacker. Silver did lose with a 2 to a 4. So gold won. What happens is if you do have claim there, then you will get to... if you don't have claim there and you won, I would have got to take this gold and put it off, and now I would have had claim on that city, which would have been really strong for the silver player. Huge for the silver player back here on only 3 gold. But I did lose, so what happens is silver player has to go back to the cave, and this gold player will now gain 3 gold. Now our gold player has gained 3 of the silver player's gold, and that will take the silver player to 0 and the gold player to 12, 13, 14. So it really benefited the gold player there. I got a little greedy with my silver player. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just kind of stayed near the home area, and then I probably would have been in a lot better spot. Okay, now we're going to go into tribute phase. So now we're going to look at the board, and we'll just go ahead and kind of go around here. And again, you got those orange cards you may want to use during tribute phase. So we'll check again here. No, I don't have any cards there that I would want to use. And I don't have any cards here I think I would want to use. Do have the Intimidate, which play during the tribute phase. Instead of rolling your claimed population tiles, you do not have other players standing on them. Pay gold as if you rolled a 3, 4, or 5. You know what? I'm going to take my chances on the die roll, so I'm not going to play any cards. Let's check here what the bronze players got going on. No cards I would play here. And let's check our last player. Intimidate as well. You know what? Interesting. I am going to play this for the silver player when it gets to tribute for that. I'm going to play Intimidate because there's a lot here, and I want to just guarantee all of that gold. So we go to the gold player here, and we go right to our tribute section. Now we are sitting on a tile, so that's an automatic. We don't have to roll it, and we have claim, and it's a city. So we go right here to the city column, 3, 4, 5, 3 gold. So it's immediately 1, 2, 3. We don't roll. And then what we would do is we would go here, and we just have a village that has 1 claim. So that means we would roll a die. We got a 4, which will pay us 1 gold. Now we're up. Man, the gold player is really taking a big, big lead here. So now we're going to go up to this player here. This player has claim on just 1 village here. We'll roll. It's a 1, which is terrible because if you roll a 1 on a village, you lose 1 claim. So this player only has claim here. It just loses it. This player is not doing well, not happy. So we go here to the bronze player. The bronze player does have claim on 1, 2 areas, and they are here. So that's an automatic 3 because it's a city. So the bronze is going to go 1, 2, 3. We are then going to come here, roll a die for that one, and it's a 2, which is just 0 gold because it's a village. So that got us nothing. We are now going to move to the silver player, which is going to go ahead and execute a card, and one of those orange ones, again, you can play outside of your action phase in your turn, which is Intimidate, which allows me to automatically, if there isn't another dragon standing on somewhere that I have claim, that's another rule. You may want to get your dragons to an area that another player has claim, and that basically negates when they would get tribute if you're standing there. But in this situation, we don't have anybody that's there. So they're going to roll on each one of these, but we played the Intimidate card, which just says you basically get the same thing as rolling a 3, 4, or 5 on that actual card. So here is a city that would give us 3 gold. So we go here and grab the silver, and we go 1, 2, 3. Here would give us 1 gold, so we go up 1. Here would give us 1 gold, we'd go up 1. And here would give us 3 gold, we'd go up 1, 2, 3. So you can see there how powerful that card was to play, because the silver player was in 0 gold in last place, and now the silver player is in second place that quick, jumping both of these other players. Now, we've still got a nice big lead to get to our gold player, but again, the way this game plays out round to round, that could dramatically change. Because again, for the second round, and I think we've got a good feel on gameplay now, but for the second round, the bronze player is now going to choose who goes first. And the bronze player may say, you know what, I'm going first because I'm going to go right into combat, or I'm going to go try to, go 1, 2, 3. Well, you wouldn't have enough actions to actually lay claims. So that wouldn't do anything for us. The bronze player may want to go over here and steal and then pull this player back. So there's a lot of different things the bronze player may want to do, or the bronze player may say, you know what, I want the silver player to go first for one reason or the other. That may be strategically what they want to do based on a card that they might be holding that they want to play. They think a certain thing may work out that way. But you do have to make that decision before you populate the board. So, again, every round that board is going to be populating and things are going to be changing. And some of the villages and cities that were there the prior round won't be there anymore, because you can see that you can destroy these villages and cities. So that's Dragoon. That's how the game works. Again, this game is awesome. I highly recommend the game. I do highly recommend picking up the expansion when it comes out for retail. And it's not out yet, obviously, because it was kickstarted. Kickstarters are going to get that first. You can purchase this game as well as the expansion when it's readily available through a website. You can go to the Lay Waste website, you can go to playdragoon.com website, and you can order and you can get this. Now, this is kind of an exclusive type of game. You're not just going to find this readily available out at retailers, and you can order it directly from Lay Waste Games. So I do recommend going out there. I'll put the links in the description below. That will be various links you can go to be able to pick this game up. And again, it's offered in 2 different versions. So if you don't want to spend the extra money for the kind of metal-plated metal piece upgrade, everything else will be exactly the same. The only difference will be the actual little components will be made of plastic. Now, they are different colors still. They still are high quality. It still looks great. But I still wouldn't say that even the metal version is at a price point that you're like, oh no, I would never pay that. It's totally worth the money that they're asking for this game to have this quality component that they include here. And I'm glad that I have this version. I absolutely will cherish this game. This will be one that I will play a lot. So this has been the review of Dragoon. Go check out the expansion. We will have a video on that coming up very soon. We will do a video specifically on this expansion showing you exactly how these characters work and the different mechanics you're going to experience on the game. We will do an example of how the characters work. We will also do an example of how the characters integrate with the dragon players on the map as well, which is a fantastic setup when you have a 6-player game and you've got a rogue on the board and you've got a barbarian on the board and you've got 4 dragons. It's fantastic. So I can't say enough. Awesome game. Go get it. Lay Waste Games, phenomenal job. Can't wait to see what else you guys come out with. Very, very impressed. So hit that like, click the subscribe below to join the team, ring the bell. This has been the McGuire Review, and we'll see you next time. Dragon Ball!